Welcome to the Bro Workers Podcast. I'm Elliot, and I'm joined by Benji. In this episode, we plan to discuss some of the topics we want to go over in future episodes, and also a big change of direction that we're taking for this year. Wonderful pod. So before we get into all that, Benji, how you doing?
Well, as you know, I'm sick.
Yeah.
I've been sick for like a week now, and like nose and throat, and I don't know. That's kind of it, but it sucks.
Yeah.
So lots of tea for me and popsicles.
Nice.
Other than that, I've been pretty good. I stayed up late last night building the Lego Notre Dame.
Nice. It looks
also
good.
My room is a mess, and there's like Morgan's botanical garden for all the watchers out there.
It's not to scale with the Notre Dame, I'm sure, cathedral.
I have no clue how big the botanical gardens is, but
because I feel like the Notre Dame should be like a lot bigger. The Notre Dame Cathedral, maybe not. Maybe it's just a little church. I don't really know.
Well, considering that like the Lego people for the botanical garden is the same size as like the trees on the Notre Dame, then there's a big scale difference.
Yeah, I'd say so. I'd say it might be scaled down quite a bit to be a manageable Lego set. That's cool though.
I don't know if you can see this, but these little tiny green lines are little Lego statues of like people, and they're still probably bigger than like what a normal person would be.
My goodness.
Compared to them.
So I think I know the answer, but whose took longer to build in like raw hours or like, I guess from like a start to finish?
Hers was like well, mine had more pieces, but hers was also just like, like the fundamental like brick, like, the thick brick. I had like 4 of those. Like not that much. The rest of it was like little tiny intricate pieces that like I had to like spend extra time like tweaking to make sure they weren't like all skewed.
Yeah.
But it turned out pretty well. I like
imagine.
it. I'm like, wow. I think that the Statue of Liberty and the Empire State Building were probably my 3 like overall like not, I don't know, maybe least favorite to build, just because there wasn't so much like just like slapping bricks together, but it was like these little things that were all like detail
little
work type stuff,
droid arms,
yeah,
and like coffee mugs and random.
I do use droid arms on the Notre Dame a lot.
Yeah.
And then like on the Empire State Building, like those little like vent looking pieces, literally the entire building on the outside is that. So
wow.
That kind of sucked to line up.
It's a whole army of droids. Wow.
But
nice. Okay. So you've been Legoing pretty hardcore. You've been sick.
Yeah.
Any other exciting news
that
you care to share at this moment?
Thanksgiving and the holidays and Christmas and stuff were pretty fun to hang out with people, and
that was a good time. I agree.
Yeah, even though it was like super hectic, Morgan and I like managed to somehow like not go grocery shopping for like a month because we were like, all right, how can we like strategically plan this out? Because some people were like cooking, or we'd like go over to someone's house, or whatever. So most of the time we managed to like get a free meal, and then we were like, okay, we just like need to like get like a meal like once a week or something like that. Between like leftovers and other things, we that was cool. But also I'm like,
nice.
We need to start like I just shopped last night, but
you need to eat more than just ham and deviled eggs. Green eggs and ham. Yeah. I'll preemptively bless you. Bless you. Anyways, that's good. We kind of missed out on the whole leftover gig. We just got to bring all our sweets back, and so that's all I eat. But
yeah, that was another thing. I like got like so sick because I'd start out my day with like 3 cookies and like basically just subsist on sugar, and I was like,
here's my thing. If you start your day with 3 cookies, how's it supposed to get better from there? You gotta start your day with a
lot of room for improvement from 3 cookies.
Okay, you're right. It could get better,
at least
in
for
a
like a health
sense.
For at least like a health standpoint, but
from like a reward, like dopamine stance, how are you supposed to get better? How are you supposed to? Your body's just like
Dairy Queen Blizzard.
Yeah. Okay. What's next? A Blizzard. Dude, I think one thing I've realized lately is that like starting your day with something more difficult, like really improves it. Because then everything after that, like you have more focus. You're not just waking up and immediately doing like the easiest thing, or like doing nothing of value or whatever. But like I've been reading when I wake up in the morning, and like I'm so much more like focused. It's like my brain is just like totally awake. It's great. It's good stuff. That's good to hear, though.
I think that this year is gonna be a big one.
Yeah,
and Jake and I are both saying it.
Yeah, I think it's a big year.
The Airbnb symbol with my headphone cords. You can't see it, but it's pretty cool.
Sounds neat.
Sorry.
I'll picture it. I don't know what that looks like, but I'll picture it.
I took a picture. I actually pictured it. Anyway. So yeah, holidays were fun. What was your... I'll ask 2 questions. What was your favorite like thing you did during like the holiday season? And then what was your favorite gift you either gave or received?
I'd say the favorite thing I did during the holiday season, so like Thanksgiving to Christmas, kind of, Halloween through Christmas, maybe.
Interesting. Okay.
Is that what we're defining as holiday?
I don't know, man.
Doesn't
Halloween's
matter.
a holiday, I guess.
I don't know. I think I've been more in Christmas spirit than any year before, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe not necessarily just like, I don't know. I've just been like, yeah, whatever. We can have more decorations, Christmas decorations. We can what else? I'll listen to Christmas music. Find a lo-fi, not a lo-fi, like a jazz Christmas chill playlist. Listen to that. Listen to some acoustic Christmas music. So I think I've been chilling, been embracing the cozy vibes a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's mostly just me like trying to go along with things Elizabeth wants to do, things that make her happy. So it's been cool. It's been cool entertaining those different things that I usually wasn't a big fan of. But
Yeah.
so that, and then favorite gift, the gift of friendship. Maybe that on the wall.
Yeah. It's pretty cool.
Somebody got me a pretty dope gifto. Looks like that. It's cool. It's right next to Find the Animals by a lady named Beth. So thanks, Beth, for making Find the Animals. That's a really cool painting. Yeah.
Yeah, for those of you that don't know, which is all of you, except for family members, the recording or the album thing that Elliot just showed was a gift that I had made. I got a vinyl and like painted like the little like circle label part, but with like his two albums that he has made, and then like kind of did like a take on his like little signature and also the same albums for like the quote unquote album art. But
he like I don't know, like in the style of the album art I had on those two albums, he like derivative arted his own his own take on like the album background and labels like on the record, and it's super dope looking. And then I also made a my symbol with that also has like an artistic kind of his own take on like recreating parts of those two album covers with my like little logo that I've been using places. So it's dope. It's really cool.
It's probably my favorite gift that I've like given.
I have a really sad story though about it. I hung it up with a command strip originally, and the night I hung it up, it fell down in the middle of the night, and like the corner of the frame busted, like one of the bottom corners. That was like the only damage, is that like the corner just like separated. So I had to super glue it back together, and now it's totally fine, and now it's on a nail, and I got a stud finder. So I put it on a stud, and now the painting there is that one's hanging on the, what do you call that, command strip. Yeah,
nice.
So that was sad, but it was fine. We fixed it. You can't tell now that there's a problem.
Yeah, I thought you were gonna be like, the entire frame broke and I had to buy a new one or something.
It broke into a million pieces and I had to remake the entire thing from scratch. Yes. Yeah. Exactly. Well, cool. I think we can. There's some good catching up. We're in the new year. New year, new us, new podcast. So why don't we get into it? Let's see. So with the new year, and stuff, and all our introspection, we've thought about it. I've thought about it a lot. I think I've got Benji thinking on board a little. But we're making a shift in kind
change.
and kind of the focus of our topics from anything and everything to primarily some topics that we have a little bit of our own experience and expertise in, which is that of the music world. Specifically, Benji and I have these weird, like, kind of puzzle piece attribute experiences that kind of can piece together to cover a lot of the music world. There's a lot more out there that we haven't learned, of course, and we're going to learn partly through this podcast and through whatever project experiences are to come. But let's see, so some things like I've done. So well, let's see. I got a guitar my senior year of high school. I'm now graduated from college, so I've been playing guitar for a good bit, upwards of, I don't know, 6, 7 years. I've been, I guess, soon after I got the guitar, I downloaded Audacity and started learning about recording. I got a Yeti mic. I got the very mic that Benji's using right now, and started trying to record stuff, track stuff, save ideas, make cool things, and then eventually made my own album and put it on YouTube. Parts of it are kind of crappy, but parts of it are kind of cool. I definitely didn't have as much audio mixing, and audio effects like understanding then. And I released a second album junior year of college, I think. And that one was a little more interesting, maybe, or like a little more like cohesive in style and stuff. And a little more like music, and but still not like great quality. And then I've been up in my game in my mixing uh and such, uh through helping one of my friends record and produce like an album. And now I've been putting out some of my own music with some of the techniques I learned there, and it's improved a lot. You can kind of see over the years. So like I've gained a good deal of experience recording stuff and mixing music, using different instruments and recording those instruments. So a lot of that stuff, and then I've also, in my engineering background, learned some signal processing stuff, which is super relevant to like audio processing, because a lot of the things are kind of the same. Like convolutions, like you can convolute two sound signals together, or you can uh, to make like reverb or make other interesting effects. Um, you can rectify a signal, and like that does interesting stuff, makes it like a kind of more high pitched signal. There's a lot of interesting stuff you can do and understand through signal processing. Um, so I got some of that knowledge and info. Um, and then, well, I guess, what are some other things I'd consider? I've I've uh, I've done a lot of like research and uh, like audio hardware, instruments hardware, recording hardware. So I got some experience there as well. Um, so I kind of got like a kind of technical um, background there, from like the music side of just trying to uh, create music and make it sound good together and stuff. And Benji, if you want to talk a little bit about some of your background and some of your areas of interest and expertise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So essentially I started doing stuff with music my 7th grade year. So I think I was 12, maybe 11 or 12. So almost 10 years I've been doing stuff with music. I started with joining the band, playing the trompeta or trumpet. It's been downhill ever since. But yeah, I picked up trumpet because my dad said that he didn't want to buy reeds. And I was like, well, wind instruments, you have to use all your fingies, and with trumpet I just use 3. So monkey brain just kind of activated with that one. So I chose to play the trumpet, and then I think like 8th grade year I kind of decided that I wanted to be a band director. And so throughout most of high school until like junior year of high school, I was trying to do whatever I could to like, prepare myself to be a band director. So I started I did marching band my freshman year through my senior year. I did well, they didn't have trumpet spots open. They needed a baritone, so I played baritone for marching band. And then they were like, "Wow, you're good at baritone. Why don't you play trombone for jazz band?" Which like the jazz ensemble, not jazz express, because jazz ensemble is like the good one. And then they were like, "Well, you're good at trombone, and we need a tuba for a symphonic band. So why don't you play tuba?" And I was like, "Okay." And then, so let's see, I played baritone my freshman year, and then I played tuba my sophomore and junior. I think just my sophomore year, maybe. Yeah, sophomore year I played tuba.
And that's not the wraparound one. The wraparound one's the sousaphone. The tuba is like the giant thing you hold, right? A giant trumpet looking thing, or no?
The hand gesture you just did was for a flute. But
tuba.
I played what most people would colloquially call the contra, which is a marching tuba, essentially. So instead of it sitting on your lap and you holding it like this, and you either have the valves like this, or sorry, over on this side, or like this. Ooh. Instead of doing that, it's basically the setup of a tuba, but it goes on your left shoulder, and it has a lead pipe and like mouthpiece that comes over here. So you hold it on your shoulder like this.
Picture a bazooka or like a guy with a big camcorder, and like
that's essentially
what like the contra is, I guess.
Yeah,
but like a big
that's
trumpet,
essentially what
right?
I was marching with.
Wow.
And it got heavy sometimes, but
not to get too dragged down in the details. Sorry about that.
No, you're good. So yeah, I marched tuba my sophomore year, and then I was taking like private lessons with trumpet and stuff, and they were like, "Oh, you need to play trumpet for marching band because you're gonna ruin your embouchure." And so I played trumpet for junior and senior year. Senior year, we had like there was COVID, and so we didn't really get a marching band thing. I mean, we still did, but it was basically just we did all the stuff from the previous 4 years. So no new music, but yeah, I think overall my favorite thing that I played was probably tuba. I was pretty good at it, and like if I had $15,000 to spend, I would buy one.
Yeah,
but yeah, and then also throughout high school, I learned a bunch of different instruments. Like I dabbled with the flute. I played a little clarinet. I actually played alto and bari sax or baritone sax,
which is mad impressive. Like reed instruments, they're like a totally different ball game, I think, from like brass instruments.
They're definitely different than like brass instruments.
So that's crazy.
Yeah, so I played those in Jazz Express my sophomore junior year, I think, and then I also played mellophone for pep band, which is like kind of like the French horn version of a trumpet. It's like built the same as a trumpet, but the bell is just like this big around.
Right.
And then
kind of looks like a cornucopia. Some cornucopias almost. I don't know.
Well, that's the French horn, but I played mellophone, which it's basically like get off the stand.
It just like flanges out really wide at the bell.
Like, yeah, it's basically the same exact like thing as this, but it was a little bit shorter, and the bell like it was like going like this, and then it was like wah.
Yeah. Gotcha.
And then I also did indoor percussion my sophomore year. I was on aux, so I played like bass drum and gong, which was a lot of fun.
I bet.
And yeah, I picked up a lot of different instruments along the way. Up to this point, I can play like over 20 instruments.
You casually play the keys too, and yeah, you've been picking up the bass guitar, right?
Yeah.
Would you say that's your new instrument of passion, or?
I say I like bass, because it's less strings than regular guitar.
It's maybe not your main, your Smash Bros main, but but you're like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think overall, like trumpet, bass, and tuba are probably my three favorite instruments to play.
Nice. And so you've also you've done a number of music theory courses, and you have like tons of experience playing, and you played in several bands, jazz band, the other bands, marching bands. You've got a lot of experience playing with people, reading sheet music, like sight reading, that type of thing. Learning just music theory, how notes work together to make chords, knowing stuff about scales, how scales and chords work together. I don't know, just everything in theory. You have like probably a much more concrete and deep understanding of the music theory than I myself do. And you even out of time you had like kind of aspirations towards music teaching. You've kind of shifted career aim and focus around a lot, but like I mean, at one point you kind of had that in you of like, this is something I could do, you know?
Yeah. So originally I was trying to be a band director, and then switched gears, and then ended up going to Ball State Chirp Chirp for a year for music media production. I didn't learn quite as much of like the like digital aspect, because I wasn't there for that long. But yeah, I like auditioned and took lessons, played with the BSU Wrecking Crew, which is the trumpet ensemble. And I took like a aural skills class, so like sight singing and ear training. Sight singing. So we had to like sing in like, define intervals and stuff like that. And then also I think I took a music theory course. But yeah, I've taken multiple music classes throughout my years, and yeah. So that's my experience. I'm not like a doctor of music or anything like that, but I have a lot of experience with music, so I think that between that and researching, we'll have good foundations for not spreading lies to you guys.
Yep. So basically, yeah, we've kind of shifted our focus to create this this show where we can share the various intricate topics of music that we ourselves have learned and are learning, and just share from a wide breadth. So not just theory, not just electronics, not just recording, but kind of share everything. So that's kind of the focus moving forward. See ya.